Hey everybody, Ryan over here at Freedom Payments, and we wanted to start a video catalog of Freedom Payments interviewing one of the veterans that were impacted by the efforts of Backcountry Veterans. As many as you know, we donate 10% of our profits to Backcountry Veterans to help get veterans outdoors. And so we wanted to share this with everybody out there that is a part of Freedom Payments, that is a part of what we're trying to do within the veteran community, and you're a big part of it. So thank you so much. Let's check out this interview with Spencer. Let's see what he has to say of his experiences getting outdoors and healing and just getting out into nature with other veterans. Okay. Well, introduce yourself and share just a little bit about your military background. For those folks that are watching, this is Spencer Kirkuk, or sorry, not Kirkuk, that's in Iraq, Kirkpatrick. And he's here to tell us a little bit about his introduction of Backcountry Veterans and how it's helped him. So introduce yourself a little bit, your background in the military.
Yeah, so like he was saying, like Ryan was saying, my name is Spencer Kirkpatrick. I was in the South Dakota Army National Guard, got in as a junior, actually. Then, so the nice thing about that is I can still actually finish school while also, being in the military itself as I'm going through that, going through college and stuff. Yeah, I got in as a junior, went to basic after my junior year, went back to high school, then went back to, they call it AIT, which is our actual skilled jobs training. After that, went to college. And so for people who don't know, the National Guards, they do a drill every weekend or a weekend a month type deal training, and then usually in the summertime is they have a big advanced training. So if it could be weeks, a few weeks or a month, just kind of depending on where it goes and that. So I did that, and it kind of helped me pay throughout college. Kind of give away. I'm an engineer now, so it definitely helped get through the pay. While I was in college, I took a break about after my sophomore year, deployed to Iraq, uh, spent a year running around the desert there, came back, finished my junior and senior year, and graduated from there. So yeah, I was in from 2014 2021, so a total of 7 years.
Nice.
I decided to just get out after that, just so I can pursue my actual engineering degree, move wherever my job takes me a little easier. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good little rundown. Come from a really high background family of military. My dad is actually a recruiter, so um, even though that sounds like, oh, he definitely would have got in. I was, never actually tried to actually recruit me. Is definitely something he wanted me to approach him like every other person would. And so I was a junior in high school. My mom kind of just brought up, she said, hey, your dad's not going to recruit you. So and they kind of know I was interested in it, but he was didn't try to convince me at all. I didn't get any kind of spiels as a kid at all. And I think he's definitely, he wanted me to come approach him. So I was very easy to get in. I knew a lot about it just because he was a recruiter. So I kind of knew the in and outs of it. And my brother was in, my grandpa was in, a lot of aunts and uncles were in, sister-in-law. So really, just something I always wanted to do is serve my country again, and help out and kind of do, what they did, kind of help out with that. So
Yeah. How did you get involved with Backcountry Veterans, and how did you get connected with those guys?
yeah, so like I said, lived in South Dakota originally. I moved to Idaho 3 years ago. Did not know anyone. I am a very avid hunter. As you can see, I'm literally hunting right now.
Yeah,
Um,
which I think is
and,
perfect.
and so I saw a page, and at the time it was Idaho Backcountry Veterans, and I was like, oh, this would be great,
Yep.
right? It's a good group of guys where they're going to be local. Obviously, it started in Idaho. It's all veterans themselves, and as you know, veterans have a very, I don't know, just a different kind of group of people, right? It's a very, I wouldn't say a clique, but you kind of draw to one another. So I kind of moving to a new state, and I want to get to know a lot of different people, and especially getting more involved in the whole um, with veteran groups, like local groups and stuff like that. And that's where I kind of started on the Facebook page, and um, yeah, met some amazing people, and it's a really good avenue for like a lot of vets to meet other vets as well as just spend some time in the outdoors. There's not a lot of I grew up in a background of hunting as well, So I did go like before I joined the group. But I know some people in the group, they never hunted before. It's something they always wanted to do. Obviously, they had the veteran background, so it's really kind of just honestly, it's vets hanging out and going hunting.
Yeah.
That's really kind of the gist of it. And I went on a turkey hunt in southeast Idaho with Dan, who's the vice president, and there's
Mhm.
supposed to be supposed to be one other vet on the group, but he was sick and so he didn't make it. But I mean, the night before the hunt, me and Dan just kind of BS'd about military stuff, right? Like all night, and went out, shot a turkey that morning, and it's kind of a nice just hanging out, getting to know different vets in Idaho, and really yeah, just getting to know people, getting groups and getting involved, and I think the group does a really good job of kind of spreading, making events. It's hard to make events and hunts, and like all the time a 2-day hunt will pop up, and people will sign up for it and go on that event itself. Um, so I appreciate everyone in the group, spending time. I know Dan said he was like gone from Sam for like 4 days, right? Take out veterans hunting, and he was explaining to me he goes to California and he takes vets like all over around like the western states. So
Mhm.
they give up a lot of time, and it's sponsors like you guys that really help the group go out, and what those guys are, they're not doing it completely free, right? They're getting paid from the group, and we have good relationships with landowners and stuff like that. So yeah, we're very appreciative of sponsors to um, help us actually go on these little hunts, and yeah, like I said, just kind of really hang out and kind of reminisce a little bit about
Yeah.
army times. So
Well, it's definitely it's something. If you're not a veteran, you just don't get it, right? And I'm
yeah,
sure you heard
yeah,
kind of a little bit of background that Jeff and I, my business partner, he was my squad leader. I was his 50 cal gunner. So there is a
nice,
different bond that you develop when you're out there in the field, or just even from
yeah,
basic training, right? I mean,
yeah,
just the stories you create and the memories you create with these folks is it's totally different. And let's just be honest, a lot of time it's not appropriate, right, for the
yeah,
general
yeah,
world in the society, but
yeah,
it is a deep rooted relationship, and some of my core memories are from the military, and I believe that, and I'm sure you feel the same way, that it's created you who you are today. Who knows what we'd be like if we didn't have the military? But let me ask you this: before you got involved with backcountry veterans, and everybody has their a different reflection, right? And everybody does different MOSs, regardless of what they did. But did you have any kind of personal struggles that you were facing that it did help you with? And maybe it wasn't a ton. Not everybody has. I would say everybody has some form of PTSD, whether it's as simple as you get startled from a nap and you might want to wring someone's neck, all the way to you do have bad dreams or you do struggle with depression. But did you have any struggles that you were facing that you feel that going outdoors with fellow veterans helped you with?
yes. I wouldn't call it much as PTSD from it, but I think once I got out, like you were just explaining, you're really tied into. You have a really good relationship with those people, and I think that was the hardest thing when I got out. It was I wasn't just leaving the military; I was leaving my best friends. Right?
Yeah.
It was a good bond. It was like a missing piece out your heart. Your group of guys, and like you said, your camaraderie. It's not really appropriate sometimes, but like it's like that funny. Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm talking about, but just like that missing
Oh yeah.
piece. And I think the group really helped me kind of get a little bit of that back. And so, um, for example, just connecting with different vets. And so, like one, kind of what the group kind of helps with too is, for instance, I live in Idaho Falls, or I used to live in Idaho Falls, and there was a older veteran, I think in Blackfoot, a little south of town, and they needed help moving some stuff, and basically they had no one, right? They had no one to help, and they got on some pages, and Kevin's wife Robin ended up sharing on her page, and I
Mhm.
volunteered, and I was going to help this veteran I didn't even know, right, drive and go help him move. And I think just that I think the group helps with missing that like missing piece. It's like um, you have the outdoorsy part, but you also have like the veteran part, and I think it really just kind of helps bring that community together. Um,
Yeah.
so that's where it kind of helped me is just kind of find my that missing piece that I missed from the military is now I'm talking to different people. who were in or just got out of the military on from the page itself, and just really kind of fills that void.
Looking back, and obviously don't share names, but do you feel that maybe some other buddies opened up to you out in the field while you're, on that turkey hunt? Do you feel that you may have helped someone too? Because you're right. It's not everybody goes to these hunting events are having a ton of issues, right? But I think it's the vets that do show up that do have issues that really connect with the vets that have found their place within the community. They've assimilated great, and so they're there to not only enjoy the hunt, but they're also to mentor, like the Dans of the world and the Kevins of the world, right? Do you feel that there was some people that you helped, or did you see some of those struggles of those guys that you're like, hey man, I get it. Here's what I'm working on. Maybe this tool will help you.
Yeah, so it wasn't specifically from a hunt, but actually I was driving from hotel to Idaho Falls with my fiance, and some I'm driving. I have Iraqi veteran plates, right, and so it's pretty obvious. And a car comes behind me, and they also had Iraqi veteran plates, and they kind of wave me down. They kind of like it's kind of weird, right? So they point at me, and like they gives me a salute, right? And so I salute them, and then they kind of go off, and then they kind of let back, and I catch them. So now we're driving side by side again, and he like wanted me to pull over, and so I pull over at a gas station. He just comes and gives me a big hug, and he's actually a vet who was going through a lot at the moment, who was um, actually suicidal at the moment and just wants someone to talk to, right? And again, with me, he was talking to about different groups involved, and he just got out as well. And I actually told him about the Backcountry Veterans group, and I said, "Hey, man, like, I don't know if you hunt at all." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I hunt." And I was like, "Well, that's awesome. Like, we got this group." So I sent him an invite on the group page and stuff like that. And he I know he joined the group. I don't know if he has gone any hunt on himself, but I just know him as well. He's missing that void, and I think that's what that group really is, right? And I met me getting flagged down on the interstate, right? It's very eye opening, right? And even like him alone, just telling him about the group and like, hey man, we're just a bunch of vets that like to go hang out and go hunt. And so I know he joined the group. I really hope he did um actually pick up on a hunt. I think he was going through a lot at the moment, and I just was the right vehicle, right time, and kind of taking him along to, hey, like this is what the group's doing. And I know, like, talked about with our vice president Dan. I know he has a lot of conversations. We kind of talked about it too, and even on our turkey hunt, kind of what the deep stuff, right? We had kind of those deep talks and stuff like that. And I know him himself. He kind of explained. He's had a lot of conversation with the vets in the group as well. And he had those late night talks, and he's kind of gone through as well. So I know that that group really does fill that void for a lot of people. And whether or not, it's I know, like, you can ask a vet, hey, want to go, have a beer or something like that, right? Like it's different when you're out in nature, you're hunting, right? It's really just a realistic, um, really, you're isolated, right? It's a lot of talk. And like I said, I had great conversations with Dan on that turkey hunt that I went, and hopefully he got out a lot of it too that I did. And um, this fellow vet that I met on the interstate, I really hope they get connected well with the group, and they can really have that void filled that the group I think can give him.
I think a lot of times, you hear the thanks for your service a lot, right? We all do as vets. And,
Mhm.
I don't know about you. I'm just like, hey man, I appreciate it. I didn't sign up because I was some uber patriotic 18-year-old. I was just me personally. I was like, I don't really have a job. I don't have direction. So I'm just going to join the
Yeah,
military because that looks like a path, right?
yeah,
But I think what a lot of civilians don't realize is the military is actually easy. And so when they say thanks for your service, I'm like, I appreciate that. And obviously everybody has potential scars from what they've done in the service.
mhm,
However, the military is like one of the easiest things besides the bad moments, right? I mean, you get
yeah,
up,
yeah,
when it's time to SP and roll out, if you're in basic training, you know what time red line's in, formations now, boots have to be this, uniform has to be that.
yeah,
Here's your next task, here's the op order, whatever it is. Everything is written out for us. You want to become a leader? Here's the boxes to check. You want to become that next squad leader? Here's the boxes to check. And I
Yeah.
think for a lot of vets, what happens is they get out here, and number one, they struggle to fit in for a lot of reasons. Could be sense of humor,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
we have a pretty sick sense of humor after you go to the
Yeah.
military, and so your language just doesn't work great. And I think it's a lot of private employers don't realize that veterans are such an asset, but you do have to just set the expectations, line out the boxes they have to check.
Yeah.
And in some cases, not all veterans, some cases you're going to have to line out each box how they're going to accomplish that box. But if you do those things, they do really well. It's the guys that come out and they're like, I just need a little direction. And I think that's what happens out there is number one, it kind of relieves some anxiety of just the real world. And I think you're right. The isolation is so powerful because there's no cell phones, right? They have to force themselves to engage in a conversation with someone and confide in another vet and hopefully, right? And I know the guys on the IBV side are, I guess, backcountry veterans side. I know they've been great mentors to some of these soldiers getting out, and that isolation forces them to just listen, right? I mean, the louds are louder.
Yeah. I mean, there's no phone distractions. Like, especially on a hunt, let's say right now, if I was as a veteran, right, same thing. I'm sitting watching the valley for deer. We're gonna go about BS, right? We're gonna talk about some stuff, and it's just I think that isolation just makes you talk, right? Kind of open up more, and I think that helps a lot of vets.
Oh yeah. What Spencer? What did you do in the National Guard? I don't know if I heard you say what you did.
So I was a commo, a 25 Bravo actually to be. So did like IT commo, satellites, radios, pretty much anything 25 series, and so that was always a fun little task, right? Because everyone comes with their issues, right? My stuff's broke, right? And fix it, and you're like the hero for the day, right?
I love the story that you brought up with that other veteran that just needed a hug, and obviously, I think the military has changed, and I'm not going to say for the better, right? I do believe that we need some knuckle draggers, right? You need people that aren't afraid to go outside the wire, people that aren't afraid to get shot at. Like there is that element of the military. And with that being said, there's this double whammy effect of like we don't show emotion. We're not going to talk about it. We're going to drive forward. And so I think it's pretty powerful. I congratulate you on just taking a minute to listen to that young vet on the side of the road. And I think that was super powerful what you did out there. Let me ask you this. Did these experiences help you at all? I mean, whether you saw anything, maybe that moment with that vet, but have they helped you in any way in your day-to-day life or just getting outdoors like you're doing right now? Does that help with your day-to-day life? Does that help with your family? Like what helps you as a vet reconnect with just being in the community? Anything that you think is helpful and that people can hear out there, other veterans, like, obviously tell them to link up with Kevin and Dan over at Backcountry Veterans, but what do you think experiences have helped you?
Yeah, I think those experiences, like even the side of the road, that helped me a lot. Just kind of eye opening, tying that vet to the group itself. I think the group itself just really helped me, like kind of explained before, fill that void, get involved. Really, I mean whether or not slowing, knowing different local vets, and especially since I moved here from South Dakota. I don't know any of my military buddies. Right, they're literally all back in South Dakota, so I can't really have those kind of camaraderie. Those BSing moments, and so really the group kind of helped bring that back. It really is a missing piece, and not only me, but I think other vets that get out, and you really are leaving a family, and so I think the group gives you that, a little bit of part of family again, and so yeah, getting outdoors. I just love getting outdoors in general, and like went on the turkey hunt with Dan, and um, it's awesome because Dan's super good at hunting. So like I was a little fresher at turkey hunting. I only turkey hunted a couple of times before that, and I was just kind of taking tips. Dan was kind of helping me, like what I should do calling wise and stuff like that. And so, yeah, my personal experience, I hunt, so at least like that helped me as a hunter. But not only that is kind of really give me. I don't know, I feel like I kind of have a platform now, to like steer vets, especially at the interaction off the road, like, before the group, I'm not really too much involved in actually Idaho stuff. I was back home in South
Mhm.
Dakota, but like I said, once I moved here, kind of lost that, and this I'm kind of like slowly circling back into it, whether or not it's the veteran group, or doing like local VA stuff, or even at work. I'm a DoE contractor with the Navy, and so that we have a
Oh,
veteran group
nice.
with there, and even getting kind of involved into that as well. Um, really kind of helps bring that missing void back.
Let me ask you this, and then we'll kind of wrap it up. I mean, this is not a super long podcast or interview. Um, what bit of advice do you have for those young veterans? It doesn't matter, young, old, that are struggling with personal isolation, that are, just having their own issues, whether it be stem from military experience, deployments, not fitting in, not finding that next job, because a lot of them just struggle to maintain a job. What advice would you give them? Um, and what do you see that's helped other vets out there?
I think the number one piece of advice I would give is speak up. I mean, they're not alone. They're really not in this fight, especially once you leave and kind of. I'd say majority of vets kind of go through those demons and work them out. Everyone has different ways of working them out, but they kind of think they're alone, right? They can't talk to anyone. Um, I think that's a very very under like I was gonna say like everyone just needs to realize that at the end of the day, they're not going through everything alone. Actually, my best friend who's a high school best friend and who's an Air Force vet, he committed suicide, and I just feel like speaking up, I mean, would help a lot, help a lot of
Absolutely.
people. So I mean, they're whether or not it's local groups, veteran groups, or even like backcountry veterans for a chance. They're not alone in the fight once they get out, and there's a whole army outside of the actual military itself, right? That will help you,
Mhm.
whether or not it's the programs that like your local programs that help, or even like shoot a Facebook page, right? There's a lot of people out there, and um, just ask for help. Like even the guy inside the road, right? I know maybe he thought like, oh shoot, like I don't think he's gonna pull over, right? Like he pointed me over. I was like, oh, I mean, I'm not too sketched. He has military plates, right? Like I wasn't worried. He gave
Yeah,
me a salute. They gave me a salute. I was like, all right, cool, we'll pull off, and just to have that moment itself. But yeah, I'm happy he spoke up, right? Because I don't know, he even said himself, he just wanted to die. It's just like that moment alone, like if he didn't speak up, right? Let's say if he didn't wave me down, right? Like if I didn't, what if I went to pull over, right? There's people are there. Um, fellow veterans are there to help. So yeah, that's number one thing for sure is speak up and um, yeah, someone will be there, someone will listen and help you out.
I think you're right, man. I think yeah, use your voice. Don't be worried about what people think. I think too is the veterans that aren't struggling as much. Pay attention to those cues. Right? It's usually the quiet ones. It's the very very quiet ones that you haven't heard from in a long time that you usually
Yep.
do. And one thing that I've had to work at, because I have a really close buddy that has struggled with some things, and I have to remember I'm super busy. I'm running a business. I've got
Yep.
a farm. I've got kids. I've got a wife. We are running like crazy. And if I just take 5-10 minutes and pick up the phone and just call those folks, my old
Yep.
military buddies, just check on them, that phone call is so powerful, and it just reminds them
Yeah.
that I mean, I haven't personally dealt with this, but I've heard of stories where there have been vets literally ready to eat a bullet because they just haven't found a place to belong. They're dealing with demons. They're self-medicating, whatever it may be, and somebody calls them right before they do the deed. And
Yep.
it's just that split second, that one phone call that changes it. And the older you get, that's the most powerful position to be in life is having the ability to save another human being's life, because when you do that, you don't just affect and save their life, you've affected hundreds of people, because when someone dies, whether they're a veteran or not, when someone takes their life, there is a trickle down effect that lasts lifetimes for a lot of
Yeah.
people. And
Yep.
so I think you're right. Speak up. And I would say pick up the phone. But I really, really appreciate you. I know you got a life. You're busy. You're out here hunting, taking the time. We're going to post this on our Facebook page. And this is the first time we've done this. So who knows if I even screwed up the recording. We'll see. I probably will do it not on Teams next time because I think Google Meet will have the images side by side. But I really appreciate you. I love the fact that Freedom Payments has been able to give back. I love that the customers are giving back. And I love that you shared your appreciation for what Backcountry Veterans has done, what Dan and Kevin have done, and how they continue to run a great little place. And I don't know about you, for me, I like these smaller groups because I see some of the big guys, and I know they do good things. I know they do. But I also know that not all the money goes where I think it should. And, that's not my place to say.
Yeah,
but so I appreciate you, Spencer. Any last words?
Yeah, I just want to shout out to you in general and your company. And, like I said, our group would not really exist without, like sponsors like you guys. It really wouldn't be. And, we obviously, Dan and the vets had to take everyone out. They can't, they obviously saw their families to feed and stuff like that. And, so even helping them out. So they're put on events, when they, whether or not I think, going dinners and stuff like that, right? Like me and Dan went on lunch, right? After shooting a turkey and stuff like that. And all comes from the group, and, having those, it kind of just encourages even, more talking and sharing those moments. And so, I just want to thank you in general too, as a sponsor of the group. And that's pretty much it.
Awesome, dude. Well, enjoy your hunt, and hope to see you at the next ball if you show up to IBV's ball.
Yeah, no, as I said, those little meetings too are great, and I'd love to be there.
Awesome. Well, good luck, brother.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you so much for watching the video all the way through to the end. For some of you that don't know, Freedom Payments is a credit card processing business. We do credit card processing terminals, POS systems, and that's really not the fun part. The fun part is that Freedom Payments gives back 10% of our profits to Backcountry Veterans to help reduce veteran suicide, heal these guys, get them outdoors, reconnect. And we absolutely love what we've created here. So if you have a business you want to participate, all you have to do is sign up. That's number one. Number two, if you know a veteran that needs some help, that needs to connect with other vets and have those conversations that they struggle to have elsewhere, connect them with Backcountry Veterans. It is a phenomenal organization. It's small. It's not some massive organization where you don't know where your money is going. We know the founder, we served with the founder, and we feel confident. And we know where our dollars go. So reach out to him. Kevin is the executive director, and he's who started it all. It was awesome to see him grow this to what it is now. Or reach out to Dan, their vice president. Their number is 208-794-3174. Or you can go to their website, and these veterans can sign up for any of these upcoming events, these hunts, waterfowl hunts, whatever it may be. You can go to backcountryveterans.org. We'll catch you on the next one, and I can't wait for our next interview.